visit our website at www.broadhurstlandfill.com. Or you can go to the website, click Visit Us, and sign up for a tour to see firsthand how we operate. We hope to see you soon.
Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO-FM in Jessup, 105.5 on your FM dial. Last day of January 31st, 2017, Tuesday morning. Butch Hubbard here with you on the Big Dog. Currently, we have 36 degrees here in southeast Georgia. Sunny today, high today near 72. Clear skies tonight, low tonight of 46. Sunny tomorrow, high tomorrow 74. The Omaha River level's 11.5 feet. And let's see here. Sunset this afternoon at 6:02. So we're getting a little more sunshine later on in the afternoons. 5 minutes after 8 o'clock, it is now time for the world-famous Butch and Bob Show, brought to you by Republic Services, by Mike Birch Ford in Blackshear, and also brought to you by Jessup Premium Storage, located out here on the Waycross Highway. And, Bob, I know we're supposed to have Tuesdays with Tillery, but Blake called yesterday and said that they've got a freshman meeting with the dean. So the freshman senators and representatives will be meeting with the governor this morning, and so he figured that was important to go to.
Well, I've been on next week, as I said. It's either the quietest session in history of the state of Georgia, or just so much information coming out of Washington, D.C. We don't hear what's going on. I haven't heard anything.
They're still jockeying for positions, getting bills made up, things of that sort.
Normally you hear they've been up there a couple of weeks a year, a little bit of rumbling what's going to take place, or what they're going to vote on, but I haven't really heard anything or seen anything.
Anything yet, huh? All right, well.
Awfully quiet in Atlanta.
Just quiet in Atlanta. No news is good news, huh?
That's good news.
Not in the news business, though, Bob.
I don't think Donald Trump goes by that here.
No, Donald doesn't go by that.
Making news every day.
Let me tell you, he's throwing things that the media is so fast they can't hardly keep up with it. Man, we're going to do this, going to do that, going to do this, going to do that, and they're thinking, I ain't even got the other story written up on the other thing you just talked about. Now we got a new story.
Man, he's a workaholic too. They said,
oh yeah, he works.
They said the average day for Obama administration began at 9:05. The average day for Trump administration begins at 6 a.m. and it goes to about midnight every day.
Yeah,
so they said he just nonstop. So,
well, you don't get where he is in life by just sitting on your behind. So he goes at it. He's got a hard work schedule, and it'll be interesting to see how it all turns out.
Amazing how much money was spent on the Obama administration's vacations alone. Did you see that? Did you see that expense?
It's a lot when the president goes on vacation.
Yeah.
A lot of money.
Must be nice.
Well, it's a fortune to get Air Force One up in the air. So it just takes a lot of money for a president to go on vacation. Of course, when they do go on vacation, they're still sort of working because they still get briefed every day. They still have to keep up with stuff, but still, it's expensive for a first family to go on vacation.
One thing Trump does, gets rid of all the waste. That's what he said. He did an interview with somebody that was walking around the White House. They asked him what was his first impressions the first couple of days. He said all the waste of money that the government spends.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to try to cut out all that waste. Just amazing how much money is just thrown away on just wasteful things.
It's easy to spend other people's money. Yeah.
Just ridiculous. So I said it's interesting to watch, but the news media is just like their heads are exploding. They can't
keep up with it all. Hey, just one issue at a time here, Trump. Okay, they can't keep up with all this.
Some man said, I don't know what pundit said best, but they said they just don't get it yet. They don't understand. That's why he won, because people are fed up with everything going on in Washington.
Yeah,
they want somebody to go in there and shake it up and get rid of the waste and make America first. So, but they don't understand that. All those lobbyists are out of the job. See, that's what they're really upset about. No one can. It's hard to bribe a billionaire.
Yeah.
He's not looking for no bribes. He's not looking for under-table deals. He's just trying to do what he thinks is what his vision is. So
that's right.
It's like somebody said, you got to give him at least more than a week.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens in Washington, D.C. over the next several months and years with this new administration, the whole new attitude. I mean, this is what Americans picked, and that's what they want.
A
lot of them.
They have the exit issues, and then later the chamber has that where they come and they give the report. So it'd be interesting when anybody comes in and get his thoughts on how things are going up there in Washington. Get his sense of what he thinks, because he's up there every day, and I said he has to work on both sides of the aisle, so it'd be interesting to see what the reaction is and how he thinks it's going. So it'd be interesting to talk to people like that.
Right. Well,
but more importantly, we got the Super Bowl to worry about.
Super Bowl, that's right. With all those stuff in Washington, Super Bowl coming up this Sunday.
Get your priorities right. Yeah, Super Bowl.
That's right. Got to get the priorities straight.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You think Kraft, and I mean, it's kind of, I'd see friendships in, but Kraft and Goodell, apparently that friendship's just not.
It's over.
I mean, Kraft used to have Goodell in the box in his private suite at least 3 games a year. They say that, since Deflategate, Goodell hasn't even entered New England, hasn't even gone. They criticized him for not going to the AFC Championship game, which is in New England. He opted to go to the NFC Championship game in Atlanta instead of that, so he got criticized for that. So it'll be interesting to see how those New England fans, they're taking this personal against Mr. Goodell. So it'll be interesting to see how the reaction is when he does, if the Patriots do win and he does have to get that trophy. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully the Falcons are working off for the trophy.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping for.
But Patriot fans, they're more excited about the trophy presentation than they are about the game. Like their enemy's not the Falcons, their enemy's Roger Goodell. So as long as Roger Goodell has to hand the Patriots the trophy, it's like that's what they're waiting for. That's what they're anticipating. It's like the game's a formality. Like they don't care about the Falcons. No, it's like not worried about.
So we know we're going to win. So
I mean, it's amazing to watch the coverage. That's the major story. Deflategate still being discussed. The Patriots are upset. Brady's upset because he had to sit out several games. But we said it all along. He was on a mission to get back to the Super Bowl. He's at the Super Bowl. So hopefully the Falcons defense has something to try to stop him. But it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Right.
But listening to AM 1370 Fox Sports, a lot of people were taking the Falcons. A lot of people picking the Falcons. Say their offense is just too much. But I keep reminding everybody that Patriots defense is the #1 scoring defense in the league. That's what scares me about the Patriots. And Brady scares me. I just wonder if the Falcons could put pressure on Brady. Brady just stands back there, doesn't even look like he has to wash his uniform after games. The Falcons have to find a way to get to him. That's going to be the key to the game. The key to the game is can the Falcons pressure Brady, get him out of the pocket, hit him like they hit Rodgers.
Yeah, if they can.
If they hit Brady like they hit Rodgers, they're going to win the game. But if Brady stands back there like he did against Pittsburgh and ate their lunch, it'll be a long day for the Falcons. But yeah, it was fun to watch the coverage yesterday. I said it'll be all this week. A lot of celebrities, like I said, show up for the Super Bowl. Luke Bryan's all of a sudden he's singing the national anthem. So yeah, it'll have a Texas flair. Some country artists are on the scene. But
okay.
I don't know why they chose Lady Gaga for halftime entertainment, though.
I don't know. They did months and months ago. So I'm sure she'll put on a good show. She usually does. So we'll see what happens with it.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will be interesting.
Can't wait to see what her outfits are like. I mean,
well, she's usually out there.
That's what I'm saying. She's just.
But she also knows that this is a little different venue than a concert somewhere with just regular fans.
Okay.
So she's smart enough to know that. So it will be interesting. Just sitting here looking at the 2017 Super Bowl commercials. Got the one with the Clydesdales there for Budweiser. Got the very first ever Busch beer commercial for Super Bowl, and several other ones. So it'll be interesting to see how good the TV ads are this year for the Super Bowl.
As much as they have to spend to have it on the air, you would think they would come up with good ones.
Yeah. If you're going to spend that much money for 30 seconds of airtime, you want to spend some money on production, I can tell you that.
Almost $5 million for 30 seconds, something like that.
Yeah,
I mean, it's unbelievable what they pay for ad in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But they do it.
Well, they do it because you reach, something million people. Yeah.
Still seems kind of expensive for a 30-second ad, but Johnson would hate to write that check.
He don't write checks.
That's right.
He just put it on his debit card.
Somebody's writing a check. money.
A lot of money spent on those ads. And the thing about the Super Bowl ads, not only do you get such a big audience, but you also get, just like what we're doing right now, people looking them up, looking at them beforehand, talking about them afterwards, that kind of stuff. So they get more than just that 30 seconds of airplay.
Matt Ryan has some interesting comments that he's talked to both Eli and Peyton Manning, trying to get some perspective on how to prepare for the Super Bowl. Said he had a long conversation with Peyton Manning. Manning gave him a lot of advice. It was interesting to hear Matt Ryan's interview yesterday with the media about how they asked him, they keep asking him, does he think he's going to win the regular season MVP, and he kind of shrugs that off and says, whatever the voters decide. It's basically it's either him or Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
1 of the 2, but most believe Matt Ryan's going to receive that award at the end of the season. So it'd be nice to add that to his trophy case along with the Super Bowl MVP.
That's right.
On Sunday. So.
That Super Bowl MVP, regular season MVP, big old Super Bowl ring. Those things are major rings these days. You know that?
Hopefully you can find Julio.
Yeah, Julio did a great job against Green Bay.
Yeah. But the Patriots, watching play Belichick's, his model was to take the best weapon away from the opposing team.
Right.
He did that with Pittsburgh, took away Antonio Brown, shut him down. And so I'm sure they're going to have a plan to try to shut down Julio Jones. So hopefully they find other receivers. The running game is solid for the Falcons. And as I said, hopefully the defense can step up and hit Tom Brady and make him uncomfortable. Because if he's not uncomfortable, then he's throwing to his wide receivers. They just did that short, quick passing game. That's what's so
just
deadly
short,
with the Falcons.
boom, 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 right down the field.
It should be a great game. It's shaping up to be a great game. Hopefully it'll live up to the hype. Hopefully it'll be a great game. But hopefully somehow, some way, the Falcons, as they used to say, it doesn't matter if you win by 10 or win by, as long as you have one more point than the other team and get away with the win. So, I see the Falcons win. I'm just hoping the Falcons play better than they did in the last Super Bowl they played. In the last Super Bowl they played against Denver, they got kind of
they did stupid stuff. Somebody got arrested. They stayed out late. They were like a big fraternity, partying before the big game. They didn't stay focused.
They say that it appears their offense coordinator Kyle Shanahan's going to get the job with the NFL team. So he's interviewed twice. So they say it's not a distraction though. But I hate to see him lose because they say he's been given most of the credit for the success of the Falcons offense this year. Him and Matt Ryan seem to be on the same page and get along extremely well, which is key. So, but he apparently will be headed elsewhere at the end of the season.
Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to the Super Bowl. If you want to keep up with coverage of it, just tune to our sister station, Fox Sports Radio, 1370 AM The Buzz, WLOP, 1370 on your AM dial. The morning guy is there right now, right?
Clay Travis is
Clay Travis, and then
he's got a lot of guests. It's just he thought that the radio row was open in the morning time, but it's not. It doesn't open. He found out yesterday it doesn't open till the afternoon. So
okay.
There's not any fans. There's not anybody walking around. He's in there by himself.
Clay Travis is in there by himself, huh? So where is everybody? Sleeping.
But they say most of the Fox crews are outside. They got this area where all the fans can line up and watch the show live. And,
right.
It's pretty neat. The radio is a pretty neat place to be.
Right.
Good place to hang out and see all the celebrities and all the guests that they bring in. So.
Dan Patrick will be on from 9 to 12, and of course, not only does the radio, but he also has all the cameras there because his show is televised. And in addition to being radio, it's a radio show that's on TV, and he had a lot of good guests yesterday. And Jim Rome, did his thing, and all of them, they all did a great job yesterday at Radio Row, and not only interviewing former athletes, but also celebrities and other folks that happen to be walking around Radio Row.
I know Clay Travis had Andy Roddick yesterday morning. He's going to have his wife, Brooklyn Decker, this week. So he was asking Andy Roddick what he should ask his wife if anything that would stump her. And he said, yeah, ask her why she married Andy Roddick.
So AM 1370, like I said, when I get off the air, I go in the office and change it from FM 105.5 to AM 1370. And by the time I get in there, Dan Patrick's on and he starts. And you'll have a lot of insights, a lot of good interviews, just good show.
Yeah. I'm sure he'll have his buddy Adam Sandler. Sandler always listens to him, so Adam always makes an appearance. I said, what I love about Adam Sandler, he walks in by himself. He doesn't have any bodyguards or anything.
No, he didn't have an entourage.
I told people all the time, the first year he came in Radio Row, there must have been 3,000 people there. And I promise you, if he didn't take 3,000 pictures, I'd be surprised. I said, if you wanted your picture taken with him, he would take it.
He would take it, huh?
Yeah, he was just a down-to-earth, good person. I think he had his uncle with him, who's been in his movies as well. All those guys are in his movie. He has the same people in all his movies.
Yeah, Dan Patrick's in most of his movies also. That's a cameo.
He had a couple of guys, those guys with him, but just a down-to-earth, good person. I said, just wasn't into having people protect him, and some celebrities came through. You couldn't even get, I think Beyonce came through one time. You couldn't even get within.
Well, I'm sure
20 feet of her. So.
But it's also different.
But Adam Sandler was just down to earth. I think he brought Kevin James one time with them. They hung out with everybody, but everybody got their picture taken with Adam Sandler. So, but it's fun. I said it's a good experience. I'm sure it's going to be. I said it's going to be a great game. I'm hoping it's going to be a great game. Really hoping the Falcons find a way to win. I said, but Brady and Belichick and Kraft are obsessed with getting that trophy from Roger Goodell at the end of the game.
Yeah. There was even something this year about some balls being deflated a little bit below the level. And, of course, they blamed it on the weather, how cold it was and everything. And, of course, that's the way it was that game with the New England and Brady. It was just a very, very cold game, and that makes the air pressure go down. And this year, for this particular time, they just said, oh, well, the air pressure's down because of the cold weather. And for some reason, Roger Goodell just decided to make a federal case out of a couple of pounds of air in a football, which didn't make any difference in the game at all. And Brady actually threw it better the second half than he did the first half, and with a regular amount of air in it.
Well, it's just interesting, we're obsessed with who's the greatest, who's the best, and it's hard to compare, but they're saying this Super Bowl for Brady, win or lose, puts him as the greatest of all time. But if he loses the Super Bowl, he's 4-3 in Super Bowls, where Montana's 4-0. Some people go back to Otto Graham, and so who's to say? Who's to say? But that's the conversation. Who's the greatest? Joe Montana was 4-4 with 3 Super Bowl MVPs. I mean, he was pretty much considered the best of all time, and now Brady's supposedly surpassing him with this run of all his Super Bowls. But I don't know. I still say one person who never won a Super Bowl, who was one fine quarterback, was Dan Marino. As far as
I know, it's a shame that Dan never won.
Talking about throwing a football and being accurate and being a competitor. I mean, who's to say Dan Marino wasn't the greatest of all time as far as great quarterbacks?
He just had a lot of good stats. But no Super Bowl wins.
But that's the conversation being talked about this week. Is Brady? Does this put Brady as the best of all time, greatest of all time? But we'll see how it plays out. I mean, what's better, 4-3 or 4-0?
Well, there 7 times. To me, that's more of an accomplishment.
All depends. You got to have a team to get there as well.
Yeah. There more than 7 times. Someone just texted in the Falcons are going to rush more than Pittsburgh to help them win the game instead of just passing all the time.
Good luck. Pittsburgh can run lick on that defensive line. If they take away that running, I tell you, don't underestimate the Patriot defense. They're the number one scoring defense. I mean, they play extremely good defense. But the Falcons have a lot of weapons. If the Falcons can't run and they take away Julio Jones and the Falcons can't stop Brady in his passing game, guess what? It's going to be a long day for the Falcons.
Yeah. Well, that's what Falcons have shown they can score points, and no reason why they shouldn't continue as long as they stay focused and stay with their game plan, and they can kind of guess what Belichick's going to do against them and try to counteract it.
like I said, the Falcons defense doesn't rank very high in many categories. I mean, they're like 26 and 27th out of 32 teams. So Brady's licking his chops watching that film all week, I promise you. So, like I said, it's hard to bet against Tom Brady. That's what's hard about it. It's like I said, and he is, he's not saying much, but Bob Kraft and Brady are pretty tight, and I'm sure Bob Kraft's just echoing the sentiments of his quarterback. And Brady, I'm sure, would love to be up on that podium after he's been accused. And basically, that's what he was accused of. They accused him of cheating.
Yeah.
And he took it personal, And we always talked about, to me, they overblown it. Didn't matter. They said when they got the regular size footballs, he threw for more yards and more touchdowns than he did the first half.
I know, the first half. It was down a couple of pounds, and then they put the quick here in, and he actually did better.
We've said it before. We don't care what kind of football Brady's throwing. I don't care if he's throwing a Nerf football. He's pretty darn good. So I don't think the air pressure had much to do with the outcome of a football game.
No, it did not. And, of course, you're covering a murder trial here in Wayne County this week. Someone just texted in what's going on with the murder trial. We had opening statements, that kind of stuff yesterday.
Opening statements, state's most witness, like I said, continues today. So the state possibly could wrap up their portion of it today, have a full report again tomorrow. But if you missed the report this morning, you can have it on. It'll be on again today at 12 and at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, around 12:15, you can listen to it again. Around 5:10, Bob will have another report on
another sad event. Again, deals with drugs. So I was talking to Jack yesterday. So when you get through these murder trials and you come on the show, and emphasize what I tell everybody all the time: if you mess with drugs, you wind up in two places, either in jail or in a grave. I mean, you see it all the time.
See it all the time.
But all these murder trials have to do with drugs, and it's just a sad situation. But this is a sad situation as well. Man gets shot to death on his porch. According to state, he was lured outside. One person's already pled guilty, is going to plead guilty once the trial's over. He's already, agreed he's going to plead guilty to conspiracy to commit murder. He testifies yesterday in shackle and chains, but he really didn't give the state everything that they were hoping he would give them.
Right.
But he did admit that he lured the guy, or he did drive the guy to the area, but he said he never heard a gunshot. But the other two witnesses in the high C, as soon as that man walked outside with the victim, less than a minute, the gunshot was heard. So,
okay. Someone just texted in and said you can't rush three people in and let Brady stand back there all day. In a sense,
yeah. Pittsburgh found that out.
You got to rush. You got to rush 4 or 5.
I understand Pittsburgh's defense totally blew it. I get it. Quit rubbing it in. I told the Falcon fans, whatever you do, don't play zone. Just don't play zone.
Well, that Falcon fan that called in the other day to the Dan Patrick Show said, rush 5, have one middle linebacker and 5 defenders back there, and that's the way you're going to beat Brady.
Just don't play zone. If I watch that first quarter and the Falcons are playing zone defense, I'm going to scream. Please line up man to man.
Yeah,
because it's zone against Brady. And that's what I don't. In fact, Jonathan said I told y'all I do write letters. I wrote Mike Tomlin, the coach of the Steelers, a letter yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it's telling a diehard Steeler fan, lifelong Steeler fan, still love him. But what was he thinking?
What were you thinking?
Yeah, all week long, every analyst said the Steelers have played him 4 times, and Brady's got 18 touchdowns, no interceptions, because Pittsburgh plays zone defense and Brady destroys the zone defense. So they've got to play man-to-man. What'd they do? They played zone the whole game, and what
only rushed 3.
Now he's got 22 touchdowns, no interceptions. So Falcons, whoever you do, can just call up and tell them to please play man-to-man defense. Okay. If they play zone, it's going to be a long day.
It's going to be a long day.
It was a long day.
Rush at least 4 and play man-to-man.
Yeah, I didn't understand what Pittsburgh was doing either. But Pittsburgh, to their credit now, they did blitz 6 times. And all 6 times, Brady picked up the blitz and hit him for long passes down the field. So that's just the talent of Tom Brady. So you got to pick your poison. Yeah, I don't know what you do.
I say you got to rush at least 4. Pittsburgh, I mean, you got to put 4 up there.
Strategy was kind of like just keep everything in front of him, but when you let the quarterback sit back there for 10 seconds, somebody's getting open. So that's what happened. Yeah. Plus Le'Veon Bell got hurt. That hurt him. But they did take away Antonio Brown. So it was just a disappointing performance. I'm still not over it. So it takes me about 6 months to get over it.
Bob, that's a little long to get over a ball game.
I haven't got over it. I'm still depressed. I still have it on my DVR. Go back and watch it every now and then and see how bad it was.
Okay.
But I'm just haven't got over it yet.
Okay.
Maybe by August.
Maybe by August when the new season starts.
I'll try to forget it.
All right,
That's why
Bob.
I'm pulling hard for the Falcons.
All right. Well, I know that you've got to get to the courthouse and cover the murder trial, and Bob will have a report on it later on. All right. Big Dog Country Radio, WIFO, 105.5 FM in Jessup. The latest news here on Big Dog Country Radio. Coming up in just a moment from Fox News Radio. World famous Butch and Bob Show has been brought to you by Mike Birch Ford and Blackshear, by Republic Services, and by